we say it every time, that's a hard act to follow, but that is a hard act to follow, so thank you. So we have some guests joining us today. Big Rotary welcome. So if the guests would stand up when I call your name, and we'll give you, welcome you when I'm done calling the names. Bill Swisher, guest of Ann Luck. Bill. Binoff Ernstson, guest of Martin Loth, the Denmark Rotary. You know. And Jason Speech, guest of Peter Gray. Jason. Big welcome to all our Rotary guests. Thank you for joining us today. President Teresa.
Thank you, Music Committee and Sean. How exciting. How exciting. All right. You've heard me talking about lots of different things that are going on. And so today's Rotary, All Things Rotary segment is poised to be really exciting today. Would Brynjolf Intesen stand again? So Brynjolf is, as Sean said, from Denmark and is studying chemical and biochemical engineering at the UW this year. So a Rotarian from Denmark who studied at the UW 50 years ago wanted to help connect a student to our club because his connection to our Rotary Club 50 years ago was so impressive and life-changing for him. So he sponsored a student who he wanted to have that same experience. So we look forward to seeing Brynjolf at our other meetings, future meetings when his studies allow. Let's give him another warm Rotary welcome. Thank you. Thank you for being with us. Before I move on to birthdays, I wanted to remind you, Steve Goldberg asked me to let you know that the Manfred Swarzinski Humanitarian Service Award Committee has received some terrific nominations. The deadline is this Friday, 2 days away. So you have some time yet to nominate someone for this special award. You can find the nomination form on the Rotary website. I want to say congratulations to our very own Secretary, Dawn Krim, who was confirmed yesterday at the Senate. We're glad to have you with us today, and for you to have that milestone behind you. Also, I don't know if Karen Kendrick Hands is in the room or not, but she and the ESRAG team are in, oh, there they are over there, are in this month's issue of the Rotary magazine, I believe. Is that correct? All right, good, yes. I'm looking forward to talking to you, Karen, about next week or a week or so ago, or a week or so out, is Environmental Days of Service. So we're looking forward to hearing from you, potentially. All right, birthdays. We have a bit of humor or wisdom to celebrate, which complement our Rotary mission. We also encourage our members to make an age-appropriate gift to the Madison Rotary Foundation, rounded up to $100 for our Club Synergy Scholarship Fund. If you are in the room today, Rotarian, when I call your name, please stand. September 26th, Joyce Bromley shares a quote adapted from Billy Burke. Age is something that doesn't matter unless you are a cheese or wine or single malt. September 26th, Joanna Bursch. September 27th, Darren Harris. September 28th, Winsy Melendez, who shares a quote from Napoleon Bonaparte. De lo sublime a lo ridículo no hay más que solo un paso, which in English is, there's only one step between the sublime and the ridiculous. ¿Qué tal eso, mi amigo? Which means, how about that, my friend? September 29th, Kirk Brink. September 30th, Bill White, who says, wherever you go, there you are. So be the best person you can be. Our thanks to our celebrants for the contributions to the Madison Rotary Foundation. Please join me in wishing them a happy birthday. Awesome. All right, now on to our all things Rotary focus. So we are going to highlight some of our club's fellowship groups today. But before we do that, we're going to hear about 3 facets of Rotary's Environmental Days of Service Opportunities. It's coming up this week. Here with us virtually to share more information are District Governor, 6250 District Governor Karen Hebert, District 6270 Governor Lisa Werner, and District 6220 past Governor Tina Hall.
Hello, Rotary Club of Madison. We were waiting here in the wings enjoying our fellowship, and we're so happy to be here with you. And thank you for inviting us and entrusting us in your very first 5th Wednesday, All Things Rotary. So most of you know me, I'm your District Governor, Karen Hebert, and with me today is my fellow District Governor from 6270, Lisa Werner, and past District Governor from 6220, but she's not here just as a District Governor. She's here to represent Operation Pollination, which is an SRAG effort, but I'll let them tell you all about what they have to say. So our goal for today is to give you a story that can serve as a lens through which you might look as you plan Rotary fellowship and service. And it'll be a lens from 3 points of view. And I hope what you walk away with is not only more information about environmental days of service, but how Rotary works. So we've entitled our presentation An Anatomy of a Project. So all organisms grow and produce according to their nature. And when I think of the nature of Rotary, 3 elements come to mind: that we're volunteer, we are grassroots, and we have very diverse outcomes. Every club, every Rotarian is about different things. Yes, we are organized by service above self and our mission, vision, and values, but we have 4 avenues of service and 7 areas of focus and lots of places in between. So first of all, what are the static elements of Rotary that actually make up our story and every Rotary story? First of all, there's you, the Rotarian. You are a member of your club, and your club is a member of Rotary International. And that's where we district governors come in. While we're intimately involved with you, we're actually officers of Rotary International, and we serve by supporting and strengthening your efforts. So while the district governor is very busy and Rotary International volunteers and staffers are very busy, we're all working to support what starts at the club level. So then we district governors get together under the leadership of President Shekar, in this case, the Rotary International president, and that happens in January of every year. In our case, it was early February. And of course, for Lisa and I, we didn't go to San Diego or Orlando, where normally 550 district governors gather, but we did it virtually, which was perfectly fine. We were happy to adapt. So that happens first. Then the next thing that happens is each district governor goes to their district teams. And in 6250, we do that in February and call it District Team Training Seminar. And it's there that the district governor invites district leaders into shared efforts and vision, and we do our own goal setting. The next thing that happens is Presidents-elect training in early March, and we meet together for lots of inspiration with 7 other districts, including Lisa's and Tina's, and 4 more. And we do breakouts. So that's the first time that we ask our club presidents to respond to our invitation to action with goal setting. And then the presidents go back to their clubs and find out what's next on their agenda. So soon after International Assembly, I turned to Lisa and Sridhar and I said, hey, great idea. How about we celebrate our new avenue of focus and respond to President Shekar's invitation to have a day of service, or in our case, days of service, and have Rotary Environmental Days of Service. Well, not every time I have a great idea does everyone else think it's a great idea, but Sridhar and Lisa said, yeah, we're on board, we like it. And so we started that. So now we have this idea, and how do we move it through? What are the channels through which we move this idea? First of all, we started a Facebook group. Lisa put that together. So we could invite anybody who like saw the spark of the idea and were energized. And we have had, let's say about 150 people out of 7,000, which is fine, on our Facebook group, maybe about 40 actively paying attention. But it's delightful, honestly, because one of our members from the Beloit Club has been very energized and a really fun participant. We have emails to presidents and Zoom. We did Zoom webinars. Tina did one. It was just really, really beautiful. We didn't have great participation, but we recorded them and made YouTube videos, which we have shared both on our Facebook group and with our presidents. So all through these moments, president-elect training seminar, even district conference, then club visits, we've invited clubs who do the action at a grassroots level to say yes to doing something at Environmental Days of Service. Every club, including Madison Downtown, has many, many things right in front of them. And whether or not they have the ability to pick up and say yes to this at a particular moment is up to a club. So I'm just going to finish there and then maybe wrap up after we hear from Lisa and Tina, and really appreciate Madison Downtown this opportunity for us to join you virtually as a panel. So go ahead, Lisa.
Thank you, Karen. Hi, everybody. I went to Madison. I miss it. This did not happen when I was there, just so you know. But Jump Around did. I was there when Jump Around was created. So that is my claim to Madison fame. And you better believe I was jumping. Regardless of that, thank you, Karen, and thanks for having me today. As you said, I'm the district governor of 6270. And Karen asked basically like, why? Why am I in this role? Why did I volunteer to do it? Because it does take a lot of time, not gonna lie. And for me, I think it really comes down to impact. So I've seen the impact that the Rotary Club, clubs in my area can make, be it with fundraising and grants, with something as simple as doing a highway cleanup twice a year. It's really, it can be visually seen, the positive impact we can have. And then you start multiplying that out by every club we have. And then like when Karen came to us with this idea for the environmental days of service, I just was completely on board because I realized, hey, if every Rotarian in Karen's district, in Tina's district, in my district, picked up one bag of garbage, we pick up over 6,500, 7,000 bags of garbage in the state of Wisconsin and the UP. So you can't tell me that that doesn't have a positive impact on the environment. And I decided to be DG because I wanted to help. I wanted to help do things like that. I wanted to help kind of change things and make things more impactful. The other opportunity I saw was really in kind of modernizing things on a district level. We are still a district where a lot of our board members are past district governors. A lot of our chair people are past district governors. We were heavily reliant on paper forms and in-person meetings. And luckily for me, COVID kind of ushered in a lot of the things I was hoping to bring to the table. So I didn't have to, claw my way uphill to talk about, hey, maybe we should do Zoom meetings. Because we have 54 clubs in southeastern Wisconsin, basically east of Madison and to the lake shore. So we cover a pretty large geographic area, and that's definitely a hindrance for people getting together for training or for board meetings. So we've taken that away. We're continuing to work on really kind of modernizing things. And for me, the big reason is I use it professionally and I use it personally. And I realize that it can make us a lot more efficient. We shouldn't be spending our time as Rotarians doing paperwork. We shouldn't be spending our times as Rotarians in meetings. We should be spending our time as Rotarians in service. I really believe that. All of my district governor visits this year are in service in some way or another, as long as the club is able to accommodate me. So I truly believe in that. we have a district that's kind of similar to 6250 in that we have a large club in our Milwaukee club. I think they're sitting at 330 active members right now, and then surrounded by a lot of smaller clubs. I know Madison versus the rest of 6250 is kind of the same way. And it's been really interesting trying to create scenarios that work for their club and their setup versus small clubs as well. And we're doing that with open communication. I kind of reached out to their club and their executive secretary and just said, hey, let's kind of start over from scratch and get this going. What do you guys see as opportunities? What do you guys need as far as support? And we're going to make it work for them as well as for other clubs in our area. So with that, I think we're going to jump into Miss Tina, because part of the environmental days of service, we did have the Operation Pollination webinar earlier this year, and Tina is here to tell you a little bit more about that.
Well, good afternoon, and thank you, Lisa and Karen. Good afternoon, Madison Club. You know, in thinking about what I was going to say today, I realized that I probably wouldn't be sitting here today talking to you if it wasn't for pollinators and gardens. And that's kind of a bold statement to say, but very briefly in my Rotary story, I joined a club and was in that club about a year, and it's a fairly typical story, had done all the networking and was kind of at odds, or, you know, I felt I really wasn't engaged. You know, I knew everyone in the club, but I kind of felt like, well, you know, I've done that. You know, what is there anything more to Rotary than just this meeting in this club? And had made the decision to quit Rotary. And I remember telling my husband, you know, I think I'm just going to quit. I'm not really getting that much out of the meal, and you know, I know all the people. I'll know them anyway. But what happened was the club approached me about leading our centennial project for Rotary, which was back getting ready for Rotary Centennial. And every club was asked to do a big project. And the idea that was floated to me that just turned all the burners on for me was to look at perhaps creating a community garden in our local community. And that was my passion. And through that, to cut to the chase, I went to a district conference, I learned about district grants. I got grants, we created the garden, I became club president, then became assistant governor. While I was assistant governor, I organized the 3 clubs in my area to come together to pool money for a grant to create another community garden. And then I became district governor of 6220. And so you could really say that it was finding the right niche within Rotary with community gardens that really stopped me from quitting Rotary, and you know, I wouldn't be talking to you. So more recently, with the exciting new area of focus on the environment, and then the exciting growth and projects that the Environment and Sustainability Rotary Action Group, SRAG, has had, there is now a Rotary-wide initiative through SRAG called Operation Pollination. And it really is just getting clubs to think about working with partners and creating pollinator opportunities in their community. And wow, when I think of Madison, there are many, many partners that would be potentially available to help create or sponsor or pay for or provide plants for pollinator gardens in the Madison area. And so what I've really engaged in now, myself and then another person, Chris Stein, who works for the National Park Service, we have been giving talks both in the upper Midwest to many districts, but also Chris is now, we're giving talks in Scotland, Mexico. So we're really taking Operation Pollination to, you know, we hope eventually it's not just a US issue and topic, it can be applied globally. Certainly people think of monarchs, they think of, prairie plants and species like that when they think of the upper Midwest for Operation Pollination. But the exciting thing is that Karen in her district has signed a pollinator resolution, and we are focusing part of the day of service in her district on helping to identify or start to create pollinator projects. And I think that is really exciting. I do give, Chris has been giving upon request, he can give a talk on what is Operation Pollination, and then I give a follow-up talk on, okay, how do you do a pollinator project? And the exciting thing is we're collecting more and more examples of Rotary doing all kinds of great pollinator projects with a lot of interesting partners. And we do have, I'm going to put in the chat on Zoom, but it's easy to look up. We have a Facebook networking page for Rotarians called Paths to Pollinators Rotary Network. So Paths to Pollinators, and it has examples of Rotary projects. It has examples of partners. And from time to time, we do hold Zoom panel discussions where we get Rotarians together talking about projects. So it's just one example of a really exciting way that your club could be engaged and think about pollinator projects in your community as an example of one of the days of service opportunities. Thanks.
Thanks, Tina. Well, we tried to go 3 minutes each and we're way over. So we're sorry about that. We hope you have a great table discussions on your fellowships. And this is never going to end, right? Our supporting the environment is never going to end. And frankly, it didn't begin with this year either. For it's very possible that Madison has some pollinator projects. So Tina and I, for sure, Lisa has her own district to care for, but if you want to engage with us, please feel free. And we'll just say thank you and well done, Madison, downtown. We really appreciate you and all that you do for Rotary, for your club, for your community, and for the world.
All right. We thank Karen, Lisa, and Tina for providing us with that information. And now, on to our All Things Rotary program. So, I've been mixing up a few things to make it interesting, entertaining, and educational this year, with some new features like my Traveling with Teresa series, our program committees meeting new Madison leaders interviews, and today our All Things Rotary segment, which we will have every time there is a fifth Wednesday. These additions are all designed to keep your membership experiences vibrant. So let's get started with our program for today. Now, did you know that our club offers 29 fellowship groups to help you make closer connections to other members with like interests? Indeed. These fellowship groups were started by past President Roth Judd, who brought the idea back from a club Rotary conference over 20 years ago. Members participate in fellowship group events, feel like that they are a big factor behind the satisfaction of their Rotary membership. I certainly believe that. Today, we will feature 5 of our Rotary fellowship groups, and each one will have up to 5 minutes to give us some highlights about their group, their goals, membership, topics, and schedules. The hope is that the presentations will inspire members to join a fellowship group that they may not have known about previously. After we've heard from all 5, we'll formally adjourn, and I will hope that you and I will stop by any of the tables of those that are in interest to you so that you can learn, more about how you can join one of those fellowship groups. We also have a few fellowship groups sign up at your tables today, so you can sign up for any of the those that you may have an interest in that you're not already a part of. Okay, so Martha Vukelik Austin, she's somewhere, there she is going to serve as our microphone operator, and we'll get the microphone to each table. As she does this, please be sure to state your name and your fellowship group, and then provide us with some highlights about your fellowship group activities. There will be a buzzer when 5 minutes is up, so we can stay on time. Okay, Martha, are you going to start it with our first fellowship group?
I sure am, and they are
All
too.
right, go for it.
Man, this is like a game show. I can't take the pressure. Big Wheel Bicycle Fellowship. I'm Steve Landry, and I'm the chair. Thank you. So I want to tell you a little bit about our Bicycle Fellowship, and I'm going to tell you what people ask me most often. So we are a fellowship group. We only happen to have bicycles in common. So we ride bicycles, but we really want to do fellowship. We're not a spandex group. We don't have spandex shorts. Most of us don't. We typically ride from 12 to 25 miles, and I usually do it once a month, and we do it all over. Basically, sometimes it's around the lake. Last Friday, we rode from Fitchburg to Paoli and back. We've gone to Baraboo and ridden before. We've also done different events to try to keep engagement and fellowship going. So I did one event where we went to a bike shop and a mechanic told us how to maintain our bicycles. There's another event that we did, which was at a bicycle shop where Waterford Bicycle Company out of Waterford, they restore vintage bikes and they hand pinstripe all of these bikes. So we had the pinstriper from them come and show us how to pinstripe bicycles and talk to us about the process, etc. Next month, one of the rides that we're going to do is tandem bicycles. So I've collected 3 tandem bicycles. They're all different. One's a road bike, one's a mountain bike, and one's a cruiser. If you think you have a strong relationship with your partner, try this out because it's really going to test it. I own 3 of them. My wife does not want to be the stoker on the back, and I don't want to be her stoker on the back either, so the grandkids are the ones that ride with me on that. In the month of November, we're going to do an event at the bicycle shop in town where Richard Schwinn and Gunnar Schwinn are going to come and talk about the Waterford Bicycle Company and basically the history of being a Schwinn and what that meant and all that. So ultimately, the goal is to kind of hang out together. We don't really work hard. We typically end up somewhere where we can have a drink and exchange fellowship, and that's ultimately the group.
Thank you so much, Steve. That was great. So next we'll have the Broadway Shows Fellowship Group.
Thank you so much. Hi, I'm Renette Maurer with the Broadway Fellowship Group. So our fellowship has been a little bit quiet as Overture is closed, but we're open back up now. So what our fellowship does is it's a chance for people who want to go to a Broadway show. Even if you already have your own season tickets, we have a link through Overture. They've been so gracious to provide us a link to an opportunity to purchase discount tickets. We go to the Broadway shows. We go to the Thursday night show. We always meet at dinner, one of the downtown locations, so you can park your car once. You don't have to move your car again. And then we get to visit over dinner. We pick different locations so we can support all the downtown restaurants. And then we go over, none of us end up having tickets next to each other. A lot of times we run into each other at intermission, but it just gives us a chance to sit down and visit before dinner, have a nice dinner, have a cocktail. We talk about the show. We talk about different Broadway shows that we'd like to see. This year we're kicking off with Fiddler on the Roof, a classic that's coming back in November. So it turns out to be about 1 show a month. Some people come and have dinner with us, even if they have tickets another night, or you're more than welcome just to come and have dinner, even if you're not able to make it to the show. But it is a good opportunity to get discount tickets. It's usually about a 15% discount that Overture awards to us. You can buy them individually. And it is just really nice to sit down and have dinner. It gives us a chance to visit. So up here on the table, I've got a little bit of information about each one of the shows, if there's something you haven't seen, and then a list of the schedule. So there's a November Fiddler on the Roof, Mean Girls in January, Hairspray in February, a great classic, The Prom, new to here in Madison in March, Dear Evan Hansen in May, and Ain't Too Proud, The Life and Times of the Temptations. That'll be a rocking good time in June. And then our beloved Hamilton is coming back for a 2-week run. So the runs are usually 4 or 5 days. We always go to the Thursday night of that show. And again, it's a chance so people can, if you have season tickets, great. If you want to purchase a ticket, and then we'll put a list out of where we're meeting for dinner. And anybody is welcome, and we'd love to have you with us at the Broadway Fellowship. Thank you.
Thank you, Renette. And if anybody hasn't gone to Overture yet, when you go, you show your vaccination, proof of vaccination and ID, so you can be sure everybody is everybody's vaccinated. Do we have someone for Cultural Awareness Fellowship Group? Thank you, Majid.
Sure.
Stand.
Hello, my name is Majid Sarmadi. I'm the chair of the Cultural Fellowship groups. And I want to just run a very fast survey. Who hates bad food? Everyone. But who loves good food? Raise your hand. Likes music? Raise your hand. Yeah, who is lifelong learner? Raise your hand. All of you are member of cultural committee. You know, what we do is every quarter we celebrate another country's food, another country's culture, and we eat, we drink, sometimes we dance, depends to the program. We always have good speaker from that culture comes and talk about the food and the culture of that place or whatever. We had some of the things that we have done in the past from Afghanistan, Armenia, China, Ecuador, you know, Hmong, India, Iran, Israel, Japan, Korea, Kurdish, Native American culture, Nepal, Peru, Russia, you know, Saudi Arabia, Sri Lanka, Syria. Well, you are getting a ticket around the world. You are traveling everywhere and learning good things. So one of the programs that I'm trying to put together for this year is about Kwanzaa. Because although we are in the United States, but we don't hear much about the custom and what they do, what is the reason behind the celebration of those things. So that's one program. You are welcome to make suggestions any countries in the world that you want to visit. Couple of conditions. One of those conditions is that you find a restaurant that serves that food. You know, because if you want that, you know, we want to, if there is a restaurant and they don't have a place for us, usually we have about 30 to 50 people that they are coming sometimes to these activities. If they don't have a private room, in past I provided my home and we cater the food into my home. So if we have a speaker and that you wanted to hear from that particular culture, we try to stay away from politics of the countries. We want to just celebrate the culture, because the more that we know about each other's culture, the more we love each other, the more we see what is in common. You know, one of the problems is we are religious enough to hate each other for our differences, but we are not religious enough to love each other. Therefore, you know, that's what we want to do. We want to create an atmosphere that you learn about other cultures. And I know I'm singing to choir, but choir needs also practice. So comes to the cultural committee, fellowship group, and enjoy a night with friends. We have been dormant for past few months because of the COVID, but as everybody is getting their booster shots or getting the shots and these things, we are coming out of hibernation. So be ready. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Majid. I'll let Paul go ahead of me, and we're moving on down here. Thank you, Lee. Going Green Fellowship.
Hi, everybody. My name is Lee Schwartz. I'm the co-chair of the Going Green Fellowship. I did not know when we would be doing this that we'd be already talking about some environmental things, so I love that we're staying with the theme. The Going Green Fellowship is a group within one of our fellowship groups where we can talk and work on environmental and sustainability projects. So I'm going to talk a little bit about what Karen Kendrick and Larry Hands have been doing, but I also want to talk about what we've done over the last few years As Majid just said, we've also been a little dormant over the last year and a half, but we're looking forward to getting things going. So I'll share some upcoming projects or upcoming meetings that we have to sort of re-energize everybody. Okay, so the tree project. Jim Christensen has done an amazing job of taking a project that really started in the Going Green Fellowship and bringing that onto community projects and getting all these trees over the course of 5 years planted across the campuses of Madison Public Schools. That did start in our fellowship, but we are not a committee. We are only a fellowship group. So big props to Jim and the rest of the Community Projects Committee for moving that forward. So some of the things we have done over the last few years are we bring in speakers. We've got presentations. We've had people come talk about socially responsible investing, we've had a speaker from the Madison Sewerage District who was way more interesting than you would expect, and a little bit more disgusting even than you might expect. Renew Wisconsin, we've had many, many others, but always some time to learn, but then obviously some time to discuss and spend time and fellowship with others. We've done a movie screening along with some discussion. You name it, we've tried to do it. We've attended some outside events as well. Oh, look at that, fellowship. See, we do fellowship. Okay, let's go on to the next one. And then you've already heard about some of these. I love that our district governors are talking about the Rotary, the Environmental Days of Service. So that's coming up starting next week, and there are a couple of events coming up through the Community Projects Committee that I'd love people to sign up for. But I really want to plug, not this coming weekend, but the following weekend at Karen Kendrick Hands and Larry Hans's home in Hollandale, which they have worked tirelessly over the last several years to turn into a carbon neutral or net zero home. So we're going to host, they're going to host. I'm not really doing any hosting. At 30 a.m. We don't know the time of the Badger game yet that day, but at least that'll give us some time before kickoff. And we're going to get a tour of not only the home, but of the grounds. There'll be some refreshments. It should be a lot of fun. And this really is an opportunity for us to kickstart and restart the Going Green Fellowship. Moving on to the last slide, yes, there's one more. So I'm not going to go into this too much because we talked about it, but I do want to put in a plug for SRAG, or the Environmental Sustainability Rotarian Action Group? Rotary Action Group, sorry. I always forget, it's so long. But mostly because of Karen and the rest of that group's tireless efforts, they have added protecting the environment to one of Rotary's core areas of focus, which is just unbelievable. And it makes sense. I think one of the things that we really want to accomplish as we look forward to our goals is this major change to Rotary, partly if not mostly, came out of this club. So what we'd really like to accomplish is for our fellowship group to grow, to strengthen, and to move on, not just from fellowship, but to actually becoming a committee so we can go out and actually accomplish more. So if you're interested in any of these causes, hopefully you all are, I'd encourage you to come to the event on the 9th, and or seek me out or my co-chair, Joan Ziegler, and love to talk to you about how you can get involved. Thanks.
Thank you, Lee. Also, it wasn't announced before this session, but the Badger football game that day is at 2:30, and I believe it's an away game. So here you go. And now we'll have Hiking and Skiing Fellowship.
I'm Bob Graebner. It's never good to be the last presenter during the hour of digestion after Thanksgiving dinner. But I've been chair of the Hiking and Skiing Fellowship for about 10 years now. It's a great group. We've done a lot of hiking, and actually there are tremendous opportunities both within the city and within an hour or so of Madison. Some of the places that we've been in the past, Devil's Lake, Blue Mounds State Park, Governor Dodge State Park, county parks, Indian Lake Park, within the city, Owen Park, the Arboretum, and the Picnic Point and Second Point. So if you haven't been to some of these places, we even have new suggestions. Casey Okers talked to me earlier, and she's got a new spot that I've never heard of. So we're trying to really explore all of the great opportunities that we have within the Madison and South Central Wisconsin. We've also done some hikes on private property. Frank Weinhold has offered to let us go to his property again at some point, a beautiful property up near Lake Delton. In the winter, we've done some hikes on the ice, and either on foot or on snowshoes. Depends on having safe conditions. And once in a while, we've done some ski things. So that the last time we had a ski event, we had an ice storm and had to cancel. We don't much whiskey. You have to join a different group for that. But it is possible to. Some of our hikes have ended with a bring it yourself picnic, and others at a pub nearby. One of the opportunities that we have is to do linear hikes where folks can some of the cars at one end of the hike and other cars at the other end, and that way you don't have to backtrack. Some of the other parks do offer circles, so that works too. Our typical hikes are 1 to 2 hours, perhaps 3 to 5 miles, depending on the terrain. There may be some uphill. There's no required pace. Usually we get strung out a little bit because we have typically about a 30 to 40 year age range of the group. So it's really a good way to get some exercise, but even more so to get to know Rotarians. And I see quite a number of the group here that I wouldn't have known as well if I hadn't been in this fellowship. Finally, I'm going to talk to you just a bit about actuarial science, and you wonder, where the heck is this going? Well, I realized that this month I've reached my life expectancy. There are people that get paid to figure this out, and if we go over, then it costs Social Security quite a bit of money. But I could use a co-chair. I think it'd be so if any current members or new members are interested, please talk to me afterward. But welcome you to join our group and give it a try. By the way, spouses or friends are invited, and some of the hikes, people have brought their canine family members too. So thank you very much.
All right, how wonderful. I will be attending that Going Green Fellowship next weekend, right? I'll be there. Yeah, the president will be there. Let's join us. All right, so thank you all for those inspiring information today on each of your fellowship groups. I think my blooper reel is increasing. Now, we're going to officially adjourn so that you can visit the tables of interest to you and ask any questions that you might have. Thank you for attending today's All Things Rotary segment. We are adjourned.